So you've been thinking about potentially making the move to the DFW? Well, you better hold on until you watch this video, because I'll be breaking down some of the pros and the cons, especially you want to stay for those. You may want to watch this video in its entirety so you don't miss anything. Hopefully this gives you, quite some insight into living in the DFW. Hey, it's your girl Shanza, and this is the Life in Dallas channel where we talk about all things living in the Dallas metro. Also, a real estate agent here helping folks buy and sell their homes, so don't hesitate to reach out. Or if you guys have any questions or need some advice, I'll be more than happy to help. All my contacts will be listed down in the description box below. I really want to put emphasis on the fact that Dallas is a whole different metro and it has its own suburbs than the Fort Worth area. The Fort Worth area is its own metro with its own suburb. Both are amazing. And, together this creates the mega Dallas-Fort Worth metro. You can note that the Dallas-Fort Worth area is actually set to surpass Chicago as the third largest metro in the US coming the next 5 to 10 years. Okay, so that's amazing. Like, we are literally up there. First pro is like the career opportunities. Career opportunities in the Dallas-Fort Worth area are endless. It's home to many Fortune 500 companies, okay, including like ExxonMobil, McKesson, AT&T, we got American Airlines Group, we got D.R. Horton. We have so many more major employers. A lot even start their own business here as well due to the low tax burden and the business-friendly laws. This area is big in the financial services, oil, gas, manufacturing, aviation, and aerospace, especially because we've got so many airports here. Construction, the medical field is booming. There's so many opportunities here. In fact, my sister did her residency in Michigan and was hired in Dallas as a doctor. And it was between Houston and Dallas, and she just liked the quality of life of Dallas much, much better. The next pro is the education system. It's one of the best compared to the other major metros here, especially in the Dallas area. Now, Texas as a whole ranks far behind than other states, but the DFW area is very different, you guys. In terms of independent school districts, the top 10 school districts in all of Texas, 7 of them are located in the DFW, okay? And if that doesn't tell you something, then I don't know what does. That is, by the way, according to niche.com. These ratings are often changing, but they don't really change that dramatically, just go up a rank or down a rank. For the most part, the education system here is very strong. DFW is home to several highly rated educational institutions, including the SMU University. You got the University of Texas at Dallas. You got the university in North Texas. And we also have community colleges as well. And a lot of times these community colleges do offer 4-year degrees at much, much cheaper price. Institutions provide a pipeline of educated and skilled workers to the local economy. Not to mention that we also have a bunch of charter schools as well if you want to go that route. My sister sends her kids to a charter school. I mean, it's nice to have that option, but again, you don't even have to send your kids to those types of schools because some of these school districts are top notch, you guys. Sometimes they scare me because it's like, how are these little kids learning all these complicated things at such a young age? Colleges will definitely open a lot of opportunities for them, especially being near all these job opportunities just makes it so much more easier. You have major opportunities to network with like-minded individuals and just, surround yourself with people that are positive and, that think like you, and you can learn from them and grow from them because you are the average of the 3 people that you hang out with, okay? And you can really scale and take your business and your ideas to the next level. And honestly, it's so important to raise your children in these types of environments versus environments where it's just so competitive, and there it's just a little bit more laid back. And I feel like, because of the Southern hospitality that I'm going to talk about later, people are so willing to share their information with you and share, the little life hacks and stuff. Next pro is that there's loads of activities all throughout the metro. Starting from Dallas, the downtown is amazing. By the way, they recently did a study that answered the question, which city center provided the most value for its residents, and it was Dallas, Texas. The study was done by Storage Cafe just this year, and there's loads to do. You can visit the Dallas Arts District, which is the largest urban arts district in the U.S. It's about 68 acres featuring museums, galleries, theaters. You can also explore the pedestrian-friendly, West End Historic District with shops and restaurants, historic buildings dating back to the late 1900s and early 20th century. There's, the Dallas World Aquarium with unique indoor and outdoor aquarium and exotic animals and marine life. You can catch a game or concert at the American Airlines Center, and it's home to the Dallas Mavericks, NBA, and the Dallas Stars, NHL. Now that Kyrie Irving has joined the Dallas Mavericks, know the prices of those tickets just went up. The price just went up on them. You also have the Clyde Warren Park, which is about 5.2 acre urban park that features, a dog park, children's playground. You got, food trucks, just outdoor events that happen all throughout. And then you got the 6th floor museum at De La Plaza. The museum explores the assassination of, John F. Kennedy. You got the North Park Mall. You got the Galleria Mall. You got other outlets throughout. You have the zoo. I love the zoo. I've been there so many times. It's so amazing. You can enjoy the nightlife in downtown Dallas. It has a vibrant nightlife scene, with bars, clubs, live music venues, and so much more you can do in Dallas. Sports facilities throughout. You got Six Flags in Arlington. You got the malls and shopping centers and plazas all spread out throughout the metro. Some of these suburbs have some amazing facilities, and then you go to another suburb, they may have an amazing park, and the other one may have like amazing mall or something. You got the Great Wolf Lodge in Grapevine. There's only 18 of those in the whole US, versus like an indoor resort style type of area with huge indoor water slides. It's really great. There's also an aquarium and a mall nearby there as well. Frisco is getting that Disneyland kiddie park. I mean, you guys, this is going to be like an hour-long video if I continue. You got Google right there, so you can look up anything that you're interested in. So both in Dallas and all throughout the suburbs, you have just so many things to accommodate you, no matter who you are, whether you're single, you're married, you got a family, whatever the case is, you're always going to find something to do here. Okay, so that's amazing. So you don't got to worry about, being bored, because you probably won't. Another thing that I absolutely love is the homes/neighborhoods. Okay, now you have so many options for homes here. You have like modern farmhouse options, you got custom home built options, you got ranch style homes on acreage, you have new construction homes in various different types of styles, from contemporary, stucco, Mediterranean, etc. You have historic homes if you like that. You have traditional styled older homes if you like that. You have like just regular mansions, and you have starter homes. Okay, so there's something here for everyone. And also the neighborhoods comes in varieties as well. Quiet small neighborhood, or a master planned community with tons of amenities, or you want to live in a neighborhood where all the houses are kind of spread apart and it's on acreage, you have that option as well. Whether you want to kind of live alone and just have no neighbors nearby, you have that option as well. I say that Texas is just so unique in that because it has something for everybody, and people seem to love the larger lot size homes that we have here compared to like New York, New Jersey, California, and some of those other states. And speaking of homes, you must know that Texas has like clay-like soil that expands and contracts depending on like the moisture levels, and this can cause settling issues. If you see a home with cracks, it's mostly just shifting, of the dry walls when it kind of settles in over time, and then you see that crack on the corners of the house. But that's not a major issue. Now, if there was a crack like right smack in the middle of the house like that, then that may be. But I know a lot of my California buyers are kind of like, oh, that has foundation issues, when it's kind of normal here, and obviously it's a case-by-case thing, but that's just something that I wanted to call out. Also, don't have basements here, and that's part of the reason why we don't have basements here, is because of that clay-like soil, and the basement can add additional stress to the foundation, and that may not be practical in areas, with this type of soil. So if you're wondering why we don't have it, that's part of the reason. And another reason could be like because of the high water table, especially in some parts of Texas where near like coastal or low-lying regions, digging deep enough to build that basement, you can encounter lots of water, which can obviously increase the risk of flooding and water damage. And one last thing you have to know about the housing here is that Texas is a community property state, which applies to married couples. So any property that you acquire by either spouse during the marriage is considered jointly owned by both spouses, regardless of who brought in the cash. Who's bringing in the funds doesn't matter. They are part owners of the property, and they're going to sign on the closing documents. If you're planning on buying a house here and you're married and you're thinking about potentially divorcing your spouse, then you may want to reconsider buying that house because they will be part owners of that house, just like, all jokes aside, I'm just joking. Moving on, the next pro is a sense of community here. And within the neighborhoods, they host like different events all throughout the year, like Easter parties, Christmas parades, Halloween events. They do so much in the neighborhood, especially if you're in like an HOA neighborhood. And if you're not, then the city does all those things. Like, trust me, like the cities go all out in different events. But like for example, our neighborhood, we have the fireworks shows on New Year's, on 4th of July. We have like Easter egg hunts. Obviously that's done with our HOA fees, but still it's nice to have those type of things to where your community can come together and mingle. And the residents also get together and create like different clubs. Like we have like a book club they made here. We also have like Minecraft club. They have Roblox club. They have a cooking club. They have like a children's master chef events that happen. They have like a hair club, a music club. and golfing club. Like if somebody's interested in a club, they go to the HOA, they're like, hey, I want to create this club, and then they have access to the clubhouse to do what they have to do. So I live in Wiley. It's a suburb on the northeast side of Dallas, okay? And we live in a master planned community, and I honestly love the whole community aspect here. Every time I do show one of my clients this specific neighborhood, they always love it. Notice that a lot of people that do reach out to me like that resort style living. Kind of branching out from like whole community aspect, the next pro is Southern hospitality. Texans are known for their hospitality, which is like rooted in the culture. People are friendly, welcoming. Texans are literally known for their generosity. That's why the term Southern hospitality comes from, right? They're very happy to share their food, their homes, their experience, and their time with you. And if you're invited to somebody's house, you can expect to be treated like family. In addition to friendliness, they're very generous, and they're known for their manners and politeness, and they respect others, and they're just quick to offer help for those in need without asking anything in return, okay? Just to be nice and just to kind of live on the notion of, you do good to other people and good comes to you. So don't be alarmed when you're walking down the street or at the grocery store or whatever. People will wave at you, greet you, even when you're walking by, and they'll just start a conversation with you. Don't be alarmed with that, especially if you're coming from more like a hostile type of environment and wondering why random people are talking to you, but that's just literally how people are, and a lot of people seem to love this aspect. People are just much more supportive and less hater-like here. I have a family friend from New York, and when she comes here, she's always asking me like, why are people so nice here? Why can't they just mind their business? And she's from New York, so I'm like, if you don't like it, then go back, because it's not for you. And she's just like, when people start conversations with me, I'm such an extrovert, like I don't even know what to say, and it becomes awkward. But then again, like if you are like that, trust me, I was like that too. Like I was kind of extroverted, like I would never really go out my way to talk to strangers. But then like moving to Dallas-Fort Worth area, just because people are just so nice and open, like I'm over here making the first move, which is like crazy because I was like an extroverted person. So yeah, but if you don't like that friendly atmosphere, then Texas is probably not going to be for you. And there's like rude haters everywhere, right? So it's not like you're not going to find one here, but I'm just saying for the most part, people are very friendly, and the Southern hospitality is so real. They won't mess with you unless you mess with them. There's just so much more diversity and tolerance here for different beliefs and cultures, and that's one of my favorite things, which brings me to my next pro is the diversity. Especially here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I cannot speak of other cities, right? You'll find people here with different races, ethnicities, and what's more fascinating is how much interest people have in your culture. Coming from an area where, like a small little town here in Texas, come from an area where literally nobody looked like me, just a couple people, I started to feel really ashamed of like my background, because obviously there were people that were bullying you, especially middle school, because them middle school kids, they are violent. They do not care about life. I won't go down with a fight. I bullied them back. Well, not really bullying them, but I defended myself. But going back to the fact that, I grew up not being confident in who I was because I was surrounded by people, that didn't know about my race or didn't know about my religion. And kids should not grow up in that type of environment where they feel ashamed of their culture. Obviously, that's prominent in areas where there's not much diversity. Here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, looking at my nieces grow up in a city where there's so many people like them, and that these young people from a young age, know about different types of religions. So they're much more aware and tolerant of things. That's important for us ethnic folks. I know some of that you guys can understand where I'm coming from. Definitely going to find people that are like you here. The Dallas-Fort Worth area is very diverse. I can tell you that Texas in general is not diverse, but these major metros, they have far more diversity. You also have many places of worship here, you guys. There's churches everywhere. You have like different mosques, you have different types of, gurdwaras, synagogues, Hindu temples, and just so many more places of worship here, different congregations. So that's amazing how you can just go out and find your people. And in fact, one of my past clients are super sweet. They actually found their congregation, and she's actually going to be giving like a speech, and she's only been here for like less than 2 months, and she's already being accepted into everything. And it's just so amazing how welcoming people are, and you going to a place of worship, another means of meeting people, getting connected with your community and networking. And speaking of diversity, when you live in a place that is heavily diverse, like the DFW, you also get diversity in food. I'll drive 40 minutes, for some nice dinner, okay? And I don't take no shame in that. That's 40 minutes to and from, okay? It's a whole experience. There's so many different types of cuisines, you guys. You can get yourself some East Asian food. You can get yourself some Asian food. Just about every country in Asia, okay? And there's probably like shops around that area as well where you can go shopping, get your groceries. There's ethnic grocery places all over. Thai food, Korean, Japanese, Pakistani, Bengali, Indian, Nepali, that South Asian foods. You also have different foods like from Nigeria, Somalia. And places from Europe, Italian foods. You have Mediterranean, Lebanese food. I love Lebanese food. We're big on Tex-Mex here. We're big on barbecue here. Any type of food that you could possibly think of, you're gonna find it. You got the fine dining, you got the fast food places as well, to mom and pop shops that you can go to, and and usually like the mom and pop shops are like the best food ever. Oh, and there's just so many options. Next pro is the parks and trails system. Now, I kind of mentioned this in the beginning. I love the amount of nature and parks and trails they have here. I mean, hundreds and hundreds and acres. In Dallas alone, it's like 397 parks. Yes, in Dallas. In the Dallas-Fort Worth Metro combined, that's easily over 2,000 parks, okay? Small to large. And these are not just regular parks, you guys. Some of these are like cool parks. They have like basketball courts, they have tennis courts. Some even have these huge playgrounds, and they have baseball fields, soccer fields. If you're somebody who likes nature, you're going to really like the whole parks and trail system here. And oftentimes these trails connect to like one city to another, which is great. You can always go for a long walk or jog. We also have to keep in mind our health, right? So it's important to at least walk 30 minutes a day. It can save you from so many different types of heart diseases and illnesses that you can get later on throughout your life. And it's also good for your mental health as well. So, I encourage everybody to walk no matter where you are. Another pro that can be a con is Texas is very pro-gun. They would like to see you take away their guns. It's embedded within the culture. If somebody had an intruder in the house, they don't want to wait for the cops to come here when they can just take matters into their own hands. You don't even need a license here to buy a gun. You don't even need a license to open carry anymore. Thanks, Greg. Average Joe is not going to be out here, walking with a gun strapped on his hip. A lot of areas won't even allow you to bring in a gun, and then a lot of areas won't even allow you to even have it showing, even if they do allow you to have it. And then people really enjoy the whole hunting atmosphere as well, and going to shooting ranges. Like when my uncle came from Belgium, for example, they literally had brought all these guns. Well, he didn't, but all like my siblings and other family friends, they brought all these guns and went to shooting ranges. And then, my brother-in-law hunts, so he hunted, I believe like last month, he hunted like 2 deers. And there's like designated areas for hunting. You pay and then you hunt. You have a certain amount of time. The kids go hunting as well. So obviously under supervision, but you got little kids here, you guys hunting. So the next pro is a public transportation system. Dallas has the DART, which is the Dallas Area Rapid Transit, that provides a light rail, commuter rail, bus services all throughout the Dallas area, expanding to Addison, Carrollton, Garland, Irving, Richardson, Rolette, Plano, and it operates over 90 miles of rails and 64 stations, and there's over 130 bus routes, okay? DART offers, free shuttle services as well. They have the D-Link, connects downtown Dallas to the popular destinations. So there's plenty of public transportation within the Dallas area and some of the surrounding cities as well. This comes with a slight con that the transportation is more accessible to the areas that are more centered to the Dallas area, versus kind of like the suburbs that are spread out. The options just become less and less. You also have like ride share services like Uber and Lyft in those suburbs. I personally did not like the public transportation system, especially the buses, because I used to go to school in downtown Dallas, and I had like really bad experiences over there. If you're going to be traveling alone and you're a woman, just make sure that you have some type of shank, some type of taser, some type of pepper spray, or any self-defense item, because you never know, okay? And there's some weird encounters that I had with people, and that was actually my first year being in Dallas, coming from a really small city, so I was really nervous. And I didn't even know that one side of the road was for pickups and the other side of the road was for drop-offs. I was trying to get on the bus, and I was on the opposite side of the road. Like, I didn't even know anything. Next pro that I want to mention, which again can be a con for some people, is Texas is so big. From the food portions to the parks to the homes to the schools, whether it be elementary, middle, or high school. I mean, these schools are big. Their stadiums are big. I remember one time I was taking one of my friends through the high schools, and she was like, "Oh my God, what college is that?" And I'm like, "Girl, that is not a college." We have big churches. We have big places of worship, which I already talked about before. We have big food portions. And, we have bigger distances to drive between different cities as well, which does have a con, is that you're probably going to have to drive a lot, if you're coming from the smaller states where everything was really close by. I mean, come on, the entire world population of 7.8 billion people could fit in the state of Texas, assuming the population density of New York of like 27,000 people per square mile. So Texas is huge, and the Dallas-Fort Worth Metro is also very huge, okay? So just keep that in mind, that you might have to drive a little bit farther than where you were before if you were coming from like a smaller city, okay? So the next pro is it's very, very sports-centered. In fact, the Sports Business Journal named Dallas as America's top market for sports business. The Dallas area offers a wide variety of professional and amateur sports teams across several major sports, including football, basketball, baseball, soccer, hockey, just so many other sports, you guys. Always a game or a match that you can watch, or it really has a passionate and dedicated fan base for its sports teams, which creates such a lively and exciting atmosphere for the games. Whether it's like the Dallas Cowboys, the Dallas Mavericks, the Texas Rangers, FC Dallas, the fans in Dallas are known for their enthusiasm and loyalty to their teams. They also have like state-of-the-art facilities. Dallas has a number of state-of-the-art facilities, including like the AT&T Stadium, home of the Dallas Cowboys. They also have the American Airlines Center, home of the Dallas Mavericks. They got the Dallas Stars, which is the hockey team. They got the Global Life Field, which is home of the Texas Rangers, the Toyota Stadium, home of FC Dallas, and very nice facilities that provide like fans with this comfortable and modern amenities. Throughout, Dallas hosts a number of high-profile sporting events and festivals all throughout the year. Now, these events attract people from all around the country, and they help solidify Dallas as a hub for the sports culture. Next Pro is the central location of Dallas. It's kind of located in the central part of the United States. Well, not even the United States, in like the world. So it's a convenient hub to travel within the country. Many major airlines have direct flights to Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, which is one of the largest and busiest airports in the world. Just so much more efficient to get to several parts of the country this way, which I love because I'm always traveling. Speaking of the Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, it has been selected for the 2020 Airport Service Quality Award for the best airport that services over 40 million passengers in North America by Airports Council International. Okay, so it's out here winning awards, you guys. I was really far away from airports from the small city that I was in, so I like that Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport is literally like 40 minutes away. And to get there, you're gonna have to go on a toll road. Yeah, so every time you're gonna go to the Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, you're gonna have to pay toll tax. Now, another pro is that there's no state income tax here. There's only 9 states with this type of tax structure, and this really helps the people put more money into their pockets. So that's great. It's attractive to businesses as well looking to relocate or start up here. Companies save just so much more money, and so do their employees, which makes a significant difference. It's also business friendly, and the business friendly laws and the low tax burden on them just makes it look more favorable to them. And that's why you see like a major influx of businesses coming to Texas all over the nation, small to large. Trust me, it's much easier starting a business here than it is in New York. The laws are much more lenient than some of the other states. So now I told you guys about the pros, let's move on to the cons. One of the major cons that I hate is the high property taxes. Now, given that Texas is a state with no state income tax, they have to find other ways to make up for that, hence high property taxes. Now, property taxes can range from 2 to 3%. On average, you can expect to pay probably around 2.5. Again, some areas would be lower, some areas would be higher. And we do have the homestead exemption, which applies to you if if that's going to be your primary homestead. And then if you're 65 years older and disabled, you have another exemption on top of that. So there's ways to kind of lower down the property tax, and you also can protest your property taxes as well. You can do it yourself. You can hire a law firm to do it. Now, some people don't mind paying this because it goes to the schools, it goes to the roads, it goes to your cities, and it goes to the things that you're going to be enjoying, like the amenities, okay? So sometimes when people live here and they're like, oh, this is such a high property taxes, but then they go out and there's no trash and everything's clean and sleek and the facilities are new and nicer, they're like, okay, I guess I don't really mind paying all that. And then a chunk of that property taxes goes to the independent school district, schools that your kids are going to be getting the education from. So all in all, it really just helps the community. That's why a lot of people don't really mind that, because in return, they get to live in such an amazing community. Now, it's also important to know that some of these developing cities, which a lot of people are attracted to due to the affordable housing and the new construction prices, they have additional taxes on top of the property taxes. For example, in our community, we have the MUD tax, Municipal Utility District Tax. This is a special district created to provide water, sewer, drainage, and other utility services, in areas outside the city limits of incorporated municipalities. So the MUDs, the MUDs, are usually formed to provide, services to newly developed areas that may not be served yet by the existing utilities, okay? And some of these new construction communities, the outskirts suburbs, they will have this. It's going to be a percentage based off your assessed home value. They also have PID, which stands for Public Improvement Development, which is created by the local government to fund and manage like specific improvements and services in designated areas, things like landscaping, lighting, other enhancements that improve the quality of life in the area, okay? Along with other special utility and special taxes that they'll give you, okay? Because especially if you're going to be in some of these developing cities. I do want you to keep that in mind because that literally adds on to your property tax, right? So some city that's like well established, the property tax will be like, 2.6, and then you'll go to like a little small outskirts city that's just not developing and the property tax will be like 3%, and you're like, what the hell, why is it so high? And the next con is that there's no scenery in terms of like mountains. We do have beautiful lakes, parks, trails, a lot of forest, a lot of trees. Yeah, we don't really have those mountains and scenic views in Dallas. There are some areas, with slightly higher elevations here, but the overall topography of the area is relatively flat compared to, other regions of the United States. It has gently rolling hills, plains, but for the most part, we don't have those scenic mountain views. But the Dallas-Fort Worth area is pretty much flat, okay? I did notice, some nice elevation that we do get in the hilly type of environment. I don't know if that's even a word. Then you can try to live near the lakes. Cons is everybody wants to move to Dallas. Okay, you can move to Dallas, I'm just playing. But the traffic has gotten worse. Traffic congestion is a problem here, especially during rush hour. And it also contributes to like the poor air quality because we're not the top of the charts for the, best air quality here in Dallas. In fact, we're probably one of the worst air quality in the Dallas city, okay? Not the suburbs. But they are expanding the highways, all service throughs all throughout the metro where they feel like there's congestion, constant construction and everything going on around the area. Of the traffic, the highway system in Dallas is very intricate. But it does benefit from the well-designed network of roads and highways that help distribute the traffic evenly throughout the city. The highway system has been strategically planned to ensure that traffic flows efficiently with a variety of routes available to drivers depending on their destination. I love that compared to some of the other cities. Houston, absolutely horrible. Hey, don't get me started. But next to the city centers, you do have like many overlapping highways, which can be really scary, especially for somebody that is not used to that. And I've been here for 7-8 years, and I'm still scared going on those things. And some of the highways are very intricate. Sometimes the exits are on the left side. You have to constantly be paying attention to the maps as well, okay? The exits will be on the left side, and then sometimes if you take an exit, and you'll be up in the air, and then the highways will split into twos too, and then your maps won't even tell you that you have to stay in the left lane or right lane, and it can be a disaster, so you have to constantly look at the maps. So that's something that was really difficult for me when I first moved here, so navigating around was a little difficult. I feel like I'm way better now. Also, the drivers are kind of reckless too sometimes, so typically if you're driving the speed limit, you want to stay in the rightmost lane. If you're driving a bit above the speed limit, middle lane, and then if you're going 10-15 miles above the speed limit or more, you want to stay in the leftmost lane unless it's otherwise stated that left line is for passing. That's how usually it goes on the highway, and even sometimes when I'm in the fast lanes and I'm going above the speed limit, people still want to pass me up. The traffic and everything is it's just much more manageable for California or something. People are stuck in traffic in California for hours, and when you think about that, Dallas-Fort Worth area is nothing, right? Speaking of the roads, I forgot to mention the toll roads. Usually when I'm mapping stuff out, toll roads will be just 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes faster. Sometimes if it's 20 minutes faster, then I'll take it. You can get a toll tag for a couple bucks and create an account, and that way you'll save some money if you're a frequent toll traveler, okay? But I don't really go on the toll roads that much. Yeah, so it really just depends. Sometimes there's even traffic on the toll roads. Or another thing is that our weather is a con, and now we have bipolar weather. We have a humid subtropical climate here with hot summers. We have all 4 seasons, just short winters and prolonged summers. But now it seems like the winters are getting worse too. Oh my God! A few months ago we had sleet and snow. Before that year we had 3 inches of snow. Before that year we had that huge winter storm that came, which was over 5-6 inches of snow that we had, and Texas was basically closed off. I did notice that our winters are getting worse because before it was barely ever cold or barely ever snowed that much here, okay? But because of global warming, we can expect these types of things to happen. Now when you're shifting from winter to spring, we have some very bipolar weather, okay? One day it'll be really cold, next day it'll be really hot, then it'll be sleet, then it'll be hail, then we'll have a tornado warning, and then we'll have a thunderstorm, all in 1 week. We have thunderstorms here, tornado, hails. We literally had 2 tornadoes within the past 2 months, okay? There were some trees that fell, some people's property that did get damaged, the roof due to the hail and the trees falling on there. Some windows got damaged. It's not something that's significant, but it does happen. People that were probably gonna experience this for the first time, or we're gonna be really scared. But for the most part, kind of weird, because when we do have like a tornado warning, people are like outside like looking like, oh, like they're interested, trying to find the tornado and stuff. Yeah, for the most part, we just stay in the house and put the cars in the garage, or under like a roof or something, so they won't get damaged in case there's hail or anything like that. We do have all 4 seasons. Temperatures stay in the mid-high 80s, 90s, even 100s, and it lasts about till August, June, July is hot, and then I would say like mid-September, October is where it starts to get kind of cold until like February, and then that's when spring starts. Spring is pretty normal. I love springtime. Everything just blooms and it just looks so beautiful, and the weather is just so amazing because it's not cold, it's not hot. And speaking of spring, now that we were talking about spring, another con is that allergies. Even if you're somebody who's never had allergies a day in your life, let's see if you're still going to be like that when you come here. Because I never had allergies before, and I came to a Dallas-Fort Worth metro, and my allergies were like so bad, you guys. I literally had to take medicine, and I don't take medicine. I just let my body do its thing. I just take like herbal things. Yeah, so where I was living in Central Texas before, I never had allergies. Sometimes it's worse, sometimes it's not that bad, but just be aware of that. Now, another con is because Texas is so big, you might have to drive around for longer periods of time compared to other states. So it's really hard to survive here without a car due to the lack of public transportation like outwards from the metro, okay? And like I mentioned, the options do become limited the more you spread out from the city centers. Another con is the snakes and insects, you guys, because we have so much land. When with land comes critters. So we got bugs, we got snakes, we got June bugs, we have gnats, we have fire ants, which are absolutely horrible. I mean, those fire ants sting more than mosquito bites. You have like this little pimple looking thing on your skin, you guys, and I mean, these fire ants do not play. They're mad. They're probably mad because the sun is so hot. They just take the anger out on us. I don't know. But no, I'm just joking. But the fire ants are really crucial, and you really need to like watch where you're stepping, especially where your kids are stepping. You'll just be sitting on an ant pile, and it won't really look like an ant pile because the grass is like, it's like inside. But yeah, that's where you need to be careful. Even in your own backyard, those ants build them ant piles really, really fast. Like they do have snakes as well. For the most part, we never really encountered poisonous snakes. It was mostly rattlesnakes, but I'm not ruling all that out. So don't be alarmed if you have like some type of snakes or anything in your backyard. For the most part, like I said, they're usually just rattlesnakes or like grass snakes or something like that. And thankfully in our neighborhood, we have an amazing lady who comes by and willingly removes the snakes from your yard, and she'll tell you what type of snake it is, how big it gets. She's very knowledgeable on those type of things, and we're just so grateful to have those type of people in our community for times of need, because some people, they get really nervous and scared around snakes. Like my mom, like she can't even function if she sees a snake. June bugs, I absolutely hate June bugs. They have a lot of crickets here too. Those black crickets, I don't know what they're called, but they're literally everywhere, like in the summer, springtime. Like they're literally everywhere, dead in front of like places where there's lights. They're so crusty, man. So I think that is all the cons. I hope I didn't miss anything, and if I did, please make sure to leave it down. If you have any further questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I am a real estate agent, okay? Just telling you that again. To help people buy and sell their homes, I will be more than happy to help you. Please hit the like and hit the subscribe, you guys. It really helps me out, and especially if you leave comments, because it really pushes this video out to other people that may find this information helpful, okay? And with that being said, make sure to check out the rest of my channel, okay? Especially if you're trying to move to the suburbs, you guys. I have so many videos about different type of suburbs, the type of neighborhoods within the suburbs, the lifestyle within them, things to do, the schools. I talk about everything, and I keep my videos really detailed, and I also do housing market updates as well if you guys are interested in that. So please make sure to check out the rest of my channel. Thank you so much for your time. I hope this video gave you a good insight into what it's like living in the Dallas-Fort Worth metro, and I will see you in my next video.